information. It's about good information. Information is power. Information saves lives, but it needs to be good information. And unfortunately, as we all know, there's huge amounts of disinformation, misinformation, and critically disinformation, on purpose, circulating. And misinformation circulates a lot faster than even these viruses do. So it's about knowing, how to keep yourself safe. And passing good information to others. I think when we look at our social media, we tend to be in certain bubbles within that. And people, if they unfortunately, are being fed a lot of misinformation, it's very strong, it's very powerful, it looks very reliable. Go to good sources of information. You can always come to WHO for good information. We have a lot of information on our web, on our social media, about how to keep yourself safe, and that's about advice to the public. We give advice to ministries, but we also give advice to the public. But also in your own home countries, there's good sources of information from national governments or, from medical institutions, from your doctor. And so it's about getting that information. We can say, without question, and I think you hear the frustration in our voices because we know there are so many tools that can save people's lives, they're just not being used most effectively. So as an individual, we can say what will keep you safe is getting vaccinated. COVID-19 vaccines are incredibly safe and effective at preventing you from getting very sick and preventing you from dying. So that's first and foremost. And there are studies upon studies that evaluate these vaccines to make sure that they're safe. It's not just my opinion about the vaccines or Mike's opinion about the vaccines. These come from studies. These come from a really rigorous process to get this information to you, to get them developed and get them used. But we also need to make sure that these vaccines are accessible to everybody around the world. Masks work. We know that masks work. Not just a piece of fabric, although that's better, that's a barrier, but what we would like to see are 3-layer masks that are used, that have a certain amount of filtration, and you can even make masks at home. Clean your hands. It's one of the ways that is important to reduce the spread of pathogens, of bugs, one of which is SARS-CoV-2. You can keep your distance from others and avoid crowded spaces. You can make sure that you ventilate rooms that you are in. These are things that will reduce the amount of virus that is around you. Go to trusted sources. You can always come to WHO.int. You can go to our social media channels. We are working with all of the different all of the Googles and Facebooks and the platforms that are out there to make sure that the right information is available to people, because information is an additional tool. Masks are a tool. Vaccines are a tool, distancing, hand hygiene, all of that is a tool. But information is one of the most critical pieces of power that you can have to keep you safe.